2016 starts off with a bang with The Forest, a horror film in January. Now I know you're thinking, horror films in January don't exactly have the best track record of being good movies. But the thing with this movie is I was actually excited to see it. I thought the trailers were intriguing and they looked scary. So I was really excited going into this movie. And it started off actually really pretty good. It sets up basically the basic story in the first 5 minutes, and it sets it up really nice, and you think that it's going to go right into the forest and it's going to scare the heck out of you and it's going to be great. Here's the basic story. There's a twin. There's, well, a set of twins, obviously. And it's the main girl. She lives in the U.S., she has a boyfriend, whatever, it doesn't matter. She has this twin sense thing where she can sense if her twin's in danger. They went through some stuff back in the day where they had this thing where they can sense whatever. So she senses it right in the beginning of the movie, and she's like, okay, I gotta go find my sister. She's in Japan. I heard that she went into this crazy psycho forest that's haunted, and so she's like, I'm gonna go get my sister. That's the first 5 minutes. It sets it up perfectly. You're ready to go. Let's get into the forest, let's get scared. And it really intrigued me. I was so ready for it to start. But then the movie decides, oh, we have to get boring, and it just grinds to a halt. It just adds these needless characters, and then it only gets worse from there. They finally get into the forest after setting it up perfectly and then spending maybe 30 minutes of just extra setting up, and they finally get into the forest, and then it just bores you. They're walking around, nothing scary's happening. They're doing all this needless side character bullcrap that it's pointless. Let's get to the scary stuff, right? So then things happen, and then it's gonna get there. We're gonna get to the scary stuff, and then it's more boring. And not only is it boring, but it also just adds these twists and turns that are just confusing. And the point of the movie is the forest messes with your mind. So you're supposed to be confused or whatever, I get it, but you're not supposed to be confused as an audience member the whole way through, not knowing what's happening. And that's what ends up happening. They make it too confusing and too dumb, and then you just lose any interest in it because they lost you. Now, this movie's not awful. This is by far one of the better horror films in last year, in January at least, because the acting was good. I really liked the main actress, Natalie Dormer. You might have seen her in The Hunger Games or some other supporting roles. She did a fine job. I thought she really portrayed her character. She did both characters, both twins, obviously, and she did both in both roles there. She had some nice scenes, and she did a fine job. Everybody else in the movie was alright. The main guy that they had, for some reason, he was hamming it up a little bit. He was a little over the top at some points, but he was fine. Everybody did a fine job. There was no bad acting, I wouldn't say, and the dialogue wasn't awful either. It was just the story was just too confusing for its own good. It was trying to do too much, and it ended up just being kind of boring. The directing was fine. I thought there were some cool shots in there. There were some nice little scares for you. And, I love horror films. I love going to a movie and getting scared, and that's the whole point. That's what you want from a horror movie. And this movie could have done that if it just went into the forest right away, like it set it up to be. If you would have just gone in there and done that, this movie would have been so much better. But then it bogs it down with stupid supporting characters and dumb plot lines, sidelines that should have been sidelined. The movie was overall not a horrible start to the year, but definitely disappointing. I'm gonna have to give the movie 1.5 out of 5 stars. Not a terrible start to the year, but definitely not good. But there's definitely still high hopes out there for the rest of the year. I can't wait to review every single movie this year. And if you like reviews like this from guys like me, you could subscribe and watch all the movies of the year. And I'll see you at the next movie.